Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to PSGL. We are here this evening for, it is round number 2 of the PSGL F3 PS Championship. It's going to be a brilliant one here in Singapore this evening. It should be a very, very peculiar race, but we should certainly have some fantastic action. As you can see on my screen, joining alongside me, you can see his lovely Pierre Gasly profile picture. Brendan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well here. I will say one thing to know here. Buckle up. We're in for a long one here. It's Singapore.
Yeah, we are in for a long one. It is a 5-kilometre circuit with 23 corners that are fairly slow enough speed, so it can be a very, very long one here in Singapore. 31 laps to be exact, and yeah, you're in for the long one. It is the longest league race by far, but hopefully it's also one of the most exciting league races by far. Let's get into things then, ladies and gentlemen, and let's have a look at our standings. As you can see on your screen now, the drivers' standings after round number 1 and last week's race results. It's Anryu who's in first ahead of Tyne. It's then Demaino, Simon, Keke, LOB, Marcus, Zane, Dirk, Ralkio, all your point scorers in Spain. And that was your top 10 finishing order. After penalties, we'll then take a brief look at the constructors' standings. As you can see, it is Alfa Romeo on top ahead of McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, Williams, Ferrari, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, the bottom 3 not scoring points. But a very, very interesting round here, completely different to last week in Spain. It's a completely different track, but still should be a good one.
Indeed, it should be. At Singapore, you don't have much room for error here. If you do make an error, there's a very good chance you could be hitting a wall, and it could result in your car maybe let's just say, not being up to tip-top condition. Because, well, especially with Singapore conditions where it can definitely rain around Singapore, and when that happens, it really is a test of the driver's ability just to keep cool and to keep themselves under control. And won't be long till that. Let's see what the conditions are like, because we're about to ready up.
Yeah, we're going to get ready to go soon. Good to see the Andrew fan club in the or the Andrew fan club, I should say, in the stream chat once again. But yeah, let's take a brief look then at our track map ahead of this evening's race. As you can see, 5.063 kilometers, 3.147 or 1.6 miles. It is 23 corners, 14 to the left, 9 to the right. Lap record belongs and will always belong to Kevin Magnussen around this variant, as for some reason the track map has decided it doesn't want to go on a loop. There we go, should be back. And yeah, Kevin Magnussen will and will always hold the track map around this variant, because of course the section from turn 18 to turn 22 will become, or apologies, the section from turn 16 to turn 20 will become a straight line here in 2023. Some land redevelopments in the local vicinity, but we're almost getting ready to go then here. We'll just head to the face cameras for one quick moment as we are getting ready to go in qualifying. Just loading in. We have a poll going in the stream chat, of course. Make sure you get your pole position predictions in so far. And Ryu on 55%, Tyne on 27. It is then the TF man on 18, and Keke, unfortunately, not with any votes. Brendan, if you had to go for someone, who would you go for pole position?
Well, you would be trusting Andy to do something. It's like he's shown himself to be able to keep a cool in of what turned out to be a bit of a chaotic race last week in Spain. But if you have to say, like, it could be anyone's game here, really. As last week we saw with a wet qualifying session, it might have messed up the order slightly, so you might see here at Singapore tonight where it's dry. It could be a little bit different, albeit you would still expect it to be somewhat resemble last week.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely time. We head to Marina Bay, where qualifying action is just about to get underway. There are 17 minutes left on the clock, and we are about to get going. Shazoo Simon leads us out of the pits, or what you can see of the McLaren there leading us out of the pits. He's at a very slow pace, but nevertheless, the first man out on track, as well as the Aston Martin of Mubarak. Simon, I think, is having some issues. He's pulled off to the side here. We will wait and see what is happening. The Frenchman, but certainly Jesus Simon struggling with something anyways. Hopefully he does get going. Time coming out to pass that McLaren as well. Mubarak in 15th position, about to start his lap. I say 15th position, no one's said a lap yet, so of course he's in 15th position, but try for now.
Yeah, all's well for them at the moment, but you don't know what could happen here. All it takes is just one slight error, and well, you could be seeing your car go from 4 to 3 wheels and maybe possibly 2, depending on how you get it.
Yeah, crashes is something that we will see this evening in Singapore. That goes without question almost, I think, here. We're bound to see someone plant into the Armco barrier, but Mubarak nevertheless is going to head down. He's going to be one of the first few to start a lap. Oh, apologies, we don't have the track map up on screen. There we go, the track map nicely up on screen now. He will be the first man to start a qualifying lap as he's heading round through the turn 16 and 17 section in under the grandstand and 18, 19, and then in towards turn 20. This is 19 here, and then in towards turn number 20, 21, and then the double left of 22 and 23 to round out your hot lap. But nevertheless, let's take a look at Mubarak then, where we'll ride on board with somebody at the later stages of the session. I think Jesus Simon has managed to get his McLaren going, I believe. I think that is just LRB who's exiting the pits. Yeah, Simon has got it going. He's in the middle sector, so Jesus Simon has got his car on the move. Mubarak quick through 1, 2 and 3. Yellow flag in the final sector. That is for one of the Mercedes cars. I believe that's for Just Brand, is the other one of Diamino is right behind the McLaren of Simon, I believe, or LRB, apologies. Here comes Mubarak then, 26.7 in the first sector, not a bad job.
Yep, not bad for Mubarak. You see, now we won't really know what that time is in comparison to the others until we get to see some other sector times. But overall, Mubarak, you'd say he could have won last week, but after taking the gamble to go for softs, he got caught up with Sipila, and well, just went from a podium potential win to nothing. So a bit on the back foot, but you would say that he very much still can get it into the fight for this championship this season if he shows the pace he had last week.
Yeah, certainly. Mubarak was involved in a controversial incident. It was no one really's fault. He just got caught up with a spinning car, but certainly Mubarak, one of the quicker drivers in the field as of our pre-season assumptions, and he kind of confirmed that in Spain. Heading around the final couple of corners then, let's see what the Aston Martin can do to round off his opening run here in qualifying. You push it very tight if you do want to get the full 3 clean runs. But Mubarak sets the banker. It's a 1:36.0. Then it is Damiano who goes to second position, 1:136.7. It's a little bit off the pace, and we will see quite a wide field spread. Next across the line is the McLaren of LRB. That's just the start lap. It'll be the Alfa Romeos, I believe. It's going to be Dirk who's next across the line, and then it's going to be QRT Ralchio. Now there goes the Ferrari. He's going to break the top times. Anryu heading across the line goes to third position, not quite as dominant as he was in the opening stages in Spain. Then that is Tyne who goes to 7th. That is Just Brand who goes to 3rd. Next will be the Alpina Marcus rounding the final corner, and he's going to go to 3rd position. It's a decent lap from Marcus. The Alpha Tauri of Half goes to 6th position. It's then, I believe, a Red Bull across the line next, but it will be Denzo who comes across for Alpine. He is just starting a run. Then we drop to the 2 Williamses. Here comes Keke heading around the final corner. Can he break the time? He's got it very close, to be fair to him. That is a decent run from him. He's in the 136s, but he's 0.065 off. It's going to be the McLaren then of Jesus Simon into the pit lane, so still some issues maybe for the Shizuman. The other Shizuman, or the Shizu Academy member of Zane, rounding through turn 21 now in towards 22 and 23. Let's see what the Scuderia Ferrari can do. Here comes Zane across the line. It's not quite what Ralchio was able to do, and he goes to 6th position. Still not a bad job indeed. Is it T Kush? But let's just call him Izza for simplicity's sake, as it has gone to 8th position, but still a lot of times yet to go, Brendan. Still very early stages.
Yep, there's a lot of time for these drivers to get around and do some more laps, but And again, it is Singapore. It takes you long enough to get out, do your out lap, then do your lap, then get back in and potentially do the cycle all over again. So you take the laps you can get in and just build from there. Because if you don't, then you're really risking it. Because obviously, long track, you're not really going to have much time on your side in a way to get around, albeit at the moment. You can still turn around. Actually, that's a Williams round.
Yeah, there's a
Slip up.
Yeah, there's a Williams gone round. Here comes Denzo to the line, the other Alpine. Denzo's going to improve to 10th position. Next will be Backy. He comes into the pit lane. We saw Stein set on his way to go on another hot lap. He's 9/10 of a second down in the first sector, which would make me think that there has something magical gone on in that first sector on possibly an invalidated lap. Sapalo almost crashes into the pit wall by the looks of things. That was fairly dodgy for him. Shizu Simon back out on an outlap, so it seems like all issues are resolved maybe for the Frenchman. But 10 minutes to go here in qualifying. First lap's already completed, and if you're enjoying the early action here in qualifying, make sure to like and subscribe to the PSGL YouTube channel. Mercedes getting ready to send a car to circuit.
Yep, they're going to send him out for the second one. His brand is on brand new soft tyres, and he has fifth place in at the moment. I think he'll be comfortable enough with that. But get another lap on the board here, and you don't know what could be happening. But we're going to got one person in the 35s, and that's Darren Smith on the who is just about in 2/1000 of a second. So really close here.
Yeah, it is quite close in qualifying, which is what we want to see. Let's have a look at the stream chat then. Anyone saying there's a lot of Anryu for pole. Anryu's fan base certainly comes out in force here in these F3 races. Anryu leading our pole with 60%, Tyne with 27, then it is Damiano in third with 13, and poor old Keke, despite being 0.065 off pole, he hasn't had a single vote, which is quite disappointing for him. But Andrew is, and then a load of eagles, says Lucky Royale, so I'm going to assume that means flying. But, well, we'll never know. Damiano heading out on his qualifying run then, and a lot of drivers following suit. There's plenty on outlaps now, but the Mercedes will be looking to put it up there with Just Brand, and I believe he can do so.
Yeah, all it takes is one lap here. You don't know what to do. Damiano is well, actually I thought he was on the lap for a second, but he is that feature with the it says a lap goes a bit before the lap actually starts for them. It is an annoying enough feature, especially at the end of qualifying. And you're just trying to figure out who's on one.
It is a horrendous glitch for us commentators. It's awful. But anyways, Damiano heading through 1 into 2, breaking through 3. You short shift up the gears on exit, he short shifts up the 3rd, and then quickly up to 4th, heading in towards turn number 5. You just want to cut a little bit of that curb and rotate the car towards the wall on the exit. Flat out through 6 up here, absolutely flat out in any sort of modern spec car, and then in towards turn 7, braking just before the 50-metre board, rotate the car in and use both curbs there. You just run the tyre to the exit of the curb. That's a little bit deep. Heading through turn number 8 from Damiano, he'll want to try and fix this up. Heading through turn number 8, little kink in the wall, you're aiming for that for your exit. Through turn number 10, formerly the Singapore Sling, formerly a triple chicane, now just a sweeping left and into the wall goes the Mercedes. He's very lucky that it's only a little bit of a spin. That could have been much worse for Damiano. Big mistake here in the middle part of qualifying.
Yeah, not a great mistake to make, but if he can maybe just save up the ERS and try again. Otherwise, you might just want to head back to the pits, allow yourself to cool down, and relax, and then go on for that final lap. Because maybe it will depend on the kind of driver you are. You might either want to try and get back on it as quick as possible, or you might want to cool off for a bit.
Well, let's see. Rocchio improving. Huge wobble for the Irishman. Currently on pole position, heading in towards the Singapore Sling. Cars coming across the line now. Tyne sets off on his way. There goes Anryu to the top. That's going to set the German fans alight. Here comes Dirk rounding the final corner. His teammate, no Alfa Romeo, 1-2, unfortunately for him. Here comes Bacchi. He is just starting a run as Damiano enters the pit lane. Going to be Denzo next across the line. He, once again, just starting a lap. Hav is not starting a lap. Big improvements for Hav here, potentially. He has actually lost a lot of time in that final sector. He was about 0.3 of a second up, but not to be. Marcus has invalidated. Justbrand is heading through the final couple of corners now. Decent run this from Justbrand. Is he going to go towards the top? He absolutely is. He's pulled that one out of the bag here in the dying embers. Justbrand goes to the top. The Mercedes on provisional pole as of now. It's going to be Zane then next across the line. Apologies, it'll be Ralchio next across the line. The Irishman makes it a QRT 1-2, and he gets us into the 7/10 of a second bracket here in the 35s. It's going to be Keke across the line next. Can the Williams have a say here? Absolutely. And the man who's not really the fan favourite in the prediction poll goes to the top. Not for long, however. Times toppling Mubarak now. Heads to the top of the field. LOB goes to 6th position. Next will be Sapala across the line. Big improvement into 6th position now. Just about beats LRB. Bit of a gap behind them. We will see Tyne heading across the line next. Tyne not able to get a representative time on the board. Trust me, that's a horrendous sentence to ever say. You can say it at home as we see Tyne. Oh, that's a big save. That's a big save. It's a lot of time lost, but it wasn't a wheel lost or a front wing. Time still improves to 7th with an absolute beautiful piece of car control. The Red Bullman. Well, it's a clip for whatever social medias he uses, that's for sure.
Well, given you are in Asia, probably appropriate to use the Tokyo Drift. But I was gonna say though, you'd probably be thinking if I could just avoid that in the next run, who knows what time he could be pulling in.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we see Simon, another man who has a bit of a slide. Simon really struggling today with some sort of issue. We saw the car pulling to one side for a good minute or so at the start of qualifying, and there's slides left, right and centre for the Frenchman. But 27-1 the first sector. It's nothing to turn down. It's a decent first sector from Simon, who ran decently in Spain, to be fair to him. Of course, we had a bit of a different qualifying in Spain. We had a wet session. We had the full extreme wet on, and then the intermediate we didn't quite go too dry. It's the polar opposite. Will be on slick running for the majority here at this Singaporean Grand Prix qualifying. If you're enjoying the action, make sure to subscribe and like the stream, and make sure to tell everyone how F3 is the best series. Decent run that, nevertheless, for Simon. We'll check back in with him later as we do see Tyne heading into the bits, Separa heading into the bits. I think he might actually be the only one on a run here, is Simon, so we'll stick with him. It's a 104 flat in the middle sector, heading in towards turn number 16 and turn number 17. It's a very tight chicane. The walls come up on you very quickly. Now, under the grandstand that you can just see there, the very tall grandstand, that will no longer be here, of course, in 2023, but Simon then pushing it out of that corner. We saw Tyne have the spin. No, he's dived into pit lane, so didn't fancy completing that run, and Simon dives into the pit lane. Still stays 17th. Royal Harvey is still behind him. Bacchi going to head into the pits to make it every single car in the pit lane. Exciting stuff.
Yep. The track is getting a, well, not to say a rare bit of breathing room, although I think that's only short-lived, because I do see Ferrari going to come out with a pit right now.
That's Zane coming out of the pits, actually. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And that's it. This is your final run, people. This is where you can often make or break your race, and sometimes it could even make or break your season.
Yeah, we're still in the early stages, but you do want to keep momentum throughout the course of a motorsport season in any sort of spec. But of course, as we said at the start of the stream, Singapore, usually a long one. It's a race of attrition. And speaking of the motorsport specs, sometimes this can be called the endurance league race, as there's a yellow flag. I believe that's for a Mercedes, but nevertheless, it's sometimes called an endurance league race in F1, and 5 races in Singaporean Grand Prix history have lasted over 2 hours. I personally hope we're not here till 10 PM this evening in Singapore, but who knows what could happen, and who knows what could happen In the dying embers of this qualifying session, Zane is going to be a man who could possibly produce a magical lap, but his teammate Ralkio significantly outperforming the Ferrari. What's Zane going to look for here? Is he going to just go absolute flat out and try and give this everything, or will he approach this more conservatively?
Well, I would say he's got to try something anyways, because there's probably 12th. I wouldn't be overly satisfied with that. Although any sort of improvement could see him jump up a lot of spots. So if he can play his cards right, you can maybe get that time, but maybe keep the little bit of control you need to ensure that lap is finished. Because if you don't finish the lap round here, it can cost you.
Well then, let's get into the final runs of qualifying. Zane leads us away in towards turn number 1. We'll be trying to keep a look at absolutely everybody as we head on our final endeavour here in qualifying for the Singaporean Grand Prix. Zane, decent through 1, 2, 3, now in towards 4 and 5, and he gets a good exit. So the Ferrari running pretty well. Anryu preparing for his perfect lap, says Shadow Phoenix in the comments. And if you're interested in our qualifying poll, Anryu tops it with 52% heading into the final run in qualifying. Decent from Zane for that first sector. Let's see how everyone else can get on. The big names heading through it now. I believe that is Anryu. He's actually invalidated his lap here. So that's the end of qualifying for the favourite for pole position. It's going to be a maximum of 5th position. That's a big mistake from Anryu, who was looking solid here in the dying embers of qualifying. Zane heading over the Anderson Bridge, rotating the car nicely out of the hairpin. This is a crucial sector in this qualifying. 0.2 of a second improvement from Zane as of right now. This will put him up near LRB in time, so a decent improvement from the Scuderia Ferrari. Nevertheless, let's take a look at our top runners, see what lap times they're producing. Ralkio, 2:10. Oh no, he's not actually completed the first sector, so let's take a look at Ralkio heading through the first sector. Keke is invalidated as well, and so has Mo Barak. This qualifying is wide open here in Singapore. The lap of the gods could be produced by anyone in this field, and maybe it'll be Zane as he's heading across the line. Big improvement to 6th position for Zane. He'll be happy with that one. He will be really happy with that one. What about Damiano here heading across the line? He will improve to 12th. He'll take the position that was left by Zane. How about Hav? He's dived into the pit lane. End of the session for Hav. LRB wasn't improving in the middle. Is he improving in the final as Ralkio has spun round and Ryu round as well? Big mistakes here. The top 5 have all made huge errors. Sipala making errors as well. LRB has improved to 8th. Maybe this is time as he made a big mistake in the final sector. Sipala has actually retired from the session here. Huge mistakes. The top 9 are all done here in qualifying, and there is Anryu out of the session as well. There's a spinning Anryu there in the final sector. Here comes time then, rounding through 20, 21, the corner. He had a massive slide at it. It's a lot better this time. He needs 0.580. What time can time find? It's only 5th position for him. Maybe Baki can have a final say in qualifying across the line. He'll improve to 9th position. Dirk is into the pit lane, and an underwhelming end to qualifying, but Mubarak takes pole position for the Singaporean Grand Prix. Wasn't even on the pole, and he's taken it.
Yeah, it's one of them kind of qualifying sessions where it just seems like the track actually gets away from everyone, and it ends up managing to trick almost every driver. So, a lot of invalidations, a few spins, but well, one Aston Martin on the pole position, and that's the thing you might end up hearing in real life this season, which I'm sure this time last year, you would have been, people would have thought you were being crazy.
Yeah, and there was a lot of time, I think, in the dying embers of qualifying there. There was a lot of time to be found. We saw some improvements from Tyne, we saw some improvements from Baki, but nevertheless, none in the top 5 could really hook it up, and Mubarak, the man who could have won in Spain, takes pole position here in Singapore. The finishman of Keke lines up alongside in the front row. Ralkio in 3rd, Marcus 4th, Tyne in 5th, followed by Usbrand in 6th. Anryu takes 7th, followed by Zane in 8th. It's Baki in 9th. Sapala will start from 10th position here in Singapore, and LRB will start just behind him in 11th. There's in 12th, followed by Damiano in 13th. It is then Hav, Simon, Denzo, Dirk and then Harvey did end up getting a run in, wasn't quite successful. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a couple of moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Marina Bay. We're here for the PSGL PSF3 round number 2 here in Singapore. You can see the track map on your screen now, as we said just before qualifying. 5.063 kilometers, 3.147 miles. But nevertheless, we're going to head absolutely straight back to the on-track action. Brendan, as quick as you absolutely can, who's your prediction for this one?
Well, if I was based off the comment section, it would be Andrew.
Yeah, I think if we don't show some Anryu bias, we may not have many viewers come next week. But nevertheless, 5 seconds till we head to the grid here in Singapore, a country that's land area includes 64 offshore islands. There might be 64 pieces of debris as we 4-5 red lights. We go racing here in Singapore for the second round of the season. Decent launch there from the man on pole, Mubarak. Keke up alongside with Ralkio heading into turn number 1. Anryu looking to try and get alongside Justbrand here. He's already up a position as the Alfa Romeo trying to force it round the outside. He's been given a right old shove, but the Alfa Romeo's going to try keep the car in heading in towards turn number 5. Bit of contact with the Williams behind there of Sipala as there's a yellow flag already. It's the other Alfa Romeo of Dirk that has gone round. Believe he was involved in a collision with LRB. Here comes Zane looking to try attack in towards turn number 7. Not able to dive it up the inside, but Sipala's gone for a huge send on Zane. Zane did not attack. Sipala has made the choice for him, and he's attacked Zane and Ryu all out of shape as it looks like there is a little bit of contact between Marcus. Marcus runs right alongside the Rolex sponsorship heading through turn number 9. Is he going to try hang it around the outside on Justbrand through the Singapore sling? They're still side by side. Mercedes keeps the car in. The Williams, or the Alpine, apologies, is going to be forced to back out as Justbrand gets the spot here on the opening lap. Looks like Anryu still all over the back as there's a huge send from the Aston Martin that was only going to end one way. And that is Sipala and Izza going round. Izza hasn't lost as much from it. He's alongside the Oracle Red Bull Racing of Baki. Baki runs deep, heading in towards turn number 14. Red Bull trying to hang it around the outside of the Aston Martin. Izza still trying to keep the car in. As you can see, the Red Bull there just about going to have the apex heading in towards turn 17. But still, Izza's trying to hang it round. This is a brilliant battle between these two, but Izza is forced to back out. I think trying to hang it around the outside there will be a bit of a silly manoeuvre. Opening lap, Denzo, your highest gainer. He's up 4. Your biggest gainer, your biggest loser, apologies, is Sipala, and LRB also losing 4. All drivers on the hard compound tyres. We start the second lap. A hectic lap 1 here in Marina Bay.
Yeah, very much well, an action-packed lap 1 here. Sometimes we're probably going to be feeling a little worse wear after that. Simon, Harvey, Dirk, LB5, Sipala, they're all going to maybe feel like that was not a good lap 1. However, the likes of Sipala, you're still there with the pack.
Oh, here comes Denzo as well. Denzo's looking to try and make a manoeuvre up the inside on Hav. Alpine versus AlphaTauri. Hav is going to have that one all day round the outside. Maybe not this one though. Bit of a bump into the wall. Goes the AlphaTauri. Completely missed his apex. Piled on the brakes. He's been tapped from Denzo, and there's definitely some damage on board that AlphaTauri. That's just an unlucky incident from my eyes. I think it was just wrong place at the wrong time for both of them.
Yep, wrong place, wrong time. Common story in Formula 1 on league racing. It's just sometimes just this in your day.
Yeah, I agree. And Lucky Royale there in the comments saying, let me drive I am faster. Well, you can sign up, sir. Are always open at the start of a season, but nevertheless, I have to say the Red Bull Atine is running decent here. He's keeping up with Ralkio after a disappointing start to qualifying. The end certainly wasn't bad for time, and driving for a Red Bull team that have the most podium finishes here. They've scored a top 3 result in every race since 2010, and most recently was Checo Perez finishing first, and then the season before that when we've last visited Singapore in 2019. Max Verstappen finishing in second position. Season before that, 2018, well, believe that one was Daniel Ricciardo, if I'm not wrong. Has he gone round here through the final sector? No, early pit stop for Hav. This is a really early call, but there is damage, of course, so Hav has to pit. He's maybe going to do a two-stop to the end. Let's see what tyres is going on the AlphaTauri. It's going to be this set of the Pirelli mediums.
Yeah, not a great start to the race for Hav, but if you can just keep on going for the next couple laps, and if you get a safety car around lap 11, let's say, you might be able to pull this back if fortune does favour you in some shape or form.
Sepala and Damiano having the closest fight here. In Singapore, there was no real fights in the top 10. Keke almost falling out of DRS as Sepala almost clattering into that wall, as Shadow Phoenix in the comments saying we need some Anryu footage. Well, Anryu actually struggling a little bit in this one. He was 1.1 seconds behind Marcus, but it seems like Marcus is just getting a little bit tangled up in the dirty air, and Anryu has allowed himself back into DRS, quite crucially. But the Alfa Romeo, work to do here in 7th. He would possibly still keep his championship lead if it finished like this. I haven't done the maths on it, and we don't expect any driver to win every race here in a championship as close as this one. But Anryu with a lot of work to do as Mubarak sets the fastest lap of the race. Looks like Sepala has managed to find his way past Damiano. No, there's a bit of side-by-side battling between these two. The Williams is going to stay in front, though, heading down the main straight. Damiano is going to try and keep behind. No, not successful for now, as it looks like Ralkio, the real one, struggling at the top. He's just about kept in the DRS somehow of Keke, and the man who looked like he was going to be quickest in qualifying, not the quickest certainly here in the race trim. That definitely belongs to Mubarak.
Yeah, Mubarak, he's having a good race here, and you'd be hoping just nothing really happens here, because something did happen last time, the safety car come. But he ended up getting caught up behind Sipala's spin, and that was unfortunately the end of his race. So, if you like, just hoping for a nice, calm Singapore race. I would say a lot of drivers have hoped for that, and in some cases, some have taken their own hands to make sure that hasn't happened in real life.
Lucky Royale asking in the comments, what time does F9 drive? F9 drives at 8 PM on a Sunday, I believe. It's not on a Monday evening. I think it's a Sunday evening, if I'm not wrong, but I could well be. Nevertheless, back up the front, Keke 7/10 of a second behind Mubarak. The finishman just about keeping with Mubarak, and Brendan, the vibes I'm getting from this one is that we're going to have a strategy battle, not an on-track battle, because these guys are all just running in unison at this point.
Yeah, the problem with Singapore is you never really get close, and when you do, you don't really have the resources to actually go for anything here. As you see, all of them, top three, are pretty much flashing, apart from Time, who has a good bit of ERS there actually, so he has something up his sleeve here if he does want to make up a place or two. However, ERS is hard got round here because the higher downforce actually makes it harder to gain and regenerate your ERS.
Anryu looking right on the back of Marcus now, so he has picked up the pace. Maybe the power of the stream chat is motivating him, and if you want to let us know your thoughts on this Grand Prix, make sure to pop them in the stream chat. We try to read as many comments as possible, as what assists are allowed at F9. That's Lucky Royale. I think all, but don't quote me on it. I'll try find out maybe during a dull point in the race, but certainly this tier, this F3 tier, down to I think it's F7 in a modern day PSGL, no assists, could be F6 actually, no assists, so no racing line being used by these guys, no ABS, no traction control. These are being prepared for PSGL F1. Issa almost being prepared for his car to be taken out of the barriers. That was a bold move around the outside, not sure if he was defending or attacking there, but nevertheless Issa in 9th position, Baki looking to still attack as this is a real schism in the field, is a 2.2 seconds behind Zayn, and then Marcus 1.9 seconds behind Jusbrand. Those are the two gaps as Royal Harvey picks up a 3-second time penalty. First of the race, actually, mind you.
Yeah, penalties aren't as common in this game as it was in the previous one, F1 2021. So it's not so well, actually, when you do get a penalty, it actually is more constantly, because it's in the case of you and multiple others getting it. So, but either way, I'll just say, as to person has no assists, well, F1 to F8 is no assists.
F8, that's it. I was one off. Yellow flag through the first sector. That is Royal Harvey. Yeah, just to confirm, F9, you are allowed assists. And it is 8 PM on a Sunday. But back to the F3 action here, and Royal Harvey has had a bit of a moment by the looks of things, and a bad weekend goes to worse. I know it's a Monday evening, but a race weekend, I suppose you could call it. And quite crucially, up the top of the field, Mubarak has managed to try and finally dispatch Keke out of his DRS activation window. Keke needs to push over the Anderson Bridge if he wants to get back into it. Aim for that large looks like Greek architecture column there on the right hand side as Royal Harvey picks up another 3-second time penalty. Things go from bad to worse. Keke just about getting back into it using his ERS. Needs a good middle sector.
Yeah, ERS is it's a hard commodity here actually in Singapore. You see most people using it up here, just trying to stick with each other.
Yeah, and most not doing a successful job of it. Mubarak has turned on the afterburners here because Ralkio has been absolutely gapped as well. 1.7 seconds is Ralkio behind, and Keke out of DRS, didn't get back into it. Maybe this is time, and it is Jusbrand's time to get a hurry on. Because, oh, Keke almost getting too much of a hurry on. He's had a bit of a slide out of that corner. But what I was going to say, maybe it's time for Tyne and Jusbrand to get a hurry on, because they can really attack Ralkio and make him pay for losing that DRS as Harvey has retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, first retirement in the race. It's in the pit lane, so it won't cause any problems with BSCs or full safety cars. So, like Mubarak, there's no disturbance to your routine at the moment. As if you're just happy to keep breaking this gap. It's 1.2 seconds now, and well, Keke doesn't really have the resources to keep up. So for Mubarak, he is in a very, very comfortable position right now.
Yeah, Mubarak running an absolute great race after the misfortune in Spain after an incident with Sepala cost him his chances of winning after a late dive into the pits for a late safety car. Every Singaporean Grand Prix has featured a safety car, so do not be surprised if we do get one at some point. And yellow flag at the first sector is for Royal Harvey, who is out of the race. Lucky Royale asking once again, is ABS allowed in F9 to F12? Yes, it is, my friend. You can use the ABS assist. About to go on to lap 8 now of the Singaporean Grand Prix. Lap 8, feels like we're here ages, but lap 8 of the Singaporean Grand Prix. And once again, I'd like to remind you, if you are enjoying PSGL action, to make sure to like and subscribe to the stream. You can also check out our title sponsors, GT and Mega, as there is a car going round in the final corner. That's Marcus losing time, and Jusbrand. Marcus and Lucas losing time. Oh, Marcus is actually disconnected from the session. I do hope we're not having any issues here. Marcus disconnecting from the session, Jusbrand losing time. That allows Anryu to be released. Tyne as well, bit of a gap now, 3.9 to Anryu. This gives Tyne a free shot at Ralkio, he can attack.
Yeah, very good news for these drivers here. So Keke, he's got right back on Mubarak now. You have to say, he could very well be get a chance here. Although Mubarak, he has the ERS to defend here, so he just has to keep it cool now. That's all he has to do. Well, we don't know when things could go wrong, and he will know that very much after last week.
Marcus losing a lot of time because of that disconnect. And crucially at the top, Keke has started to push. He's getting back within Mubarak's DRS and
Oh,
Mubarak.
time down the inside.
Oh, here comes Tyne down the inside on Ralkio. The Ferrari versus Red Bull battle continues even here in PSGL. Ralkio defends it off for now. Tyne's going to have to try something a little bit better than that if he wants to get past the experienced man in front of him. He's F2 debut. He's had F2 appearances under his belt. He's had many F3 appearances under his belt, and Ralkio, he's a wise fox compared to Tyne maybe in this tier. As Sipala has gone round. Sipala is stuck in the middle of turn 18 and 19. He's going to have to use a bit of a 3-point turn to get through there. Keke really close to Mubarak. Not sure if Mubarak's had some issues or whatnot, but certainly that gap has come down quite substantially. Tyne tucking into the DRS of Ralkio. Is this the moment for Tyne where he can get up onto the podium? Battled for the win last week with Anriu. Not close enough for now, and it looks like Ralkio struggling with his ERS. Damiano and Marcus, no, that's just Marcus, apologies, losing more time. Gap up the front though, being 0.3 of a second is nervy moments for Mubarak that literally 2 laps ago was in a much more comfortable position.
Yeah. Ralkio, I'm not sure what's happened. He seems to be doing alright in qualifying and first few laps, but now with that drop off, and well, Tyne is just building up the ERS, although the exit there isn't really for him this time, so he may well just have to sit back and observe. Because, well, he might just have to hope for an opportunity to come his way.
A lot of drivers here are going to hope that opportunities do fall in their path, as there's still a lot of opportunity in this Grand Prix. We, quite frankly, aren't even close to halfway, so there's still a lot that can happen. Do appreciate you all who are sticking with us here in the stream chat. Let us know your thoughts and let us know your comments down below and who you think is going to win. Now that I say that, I expect a lot of Anriu comments, but nevertheless, Justbrand now attacking Zane after he lost a good bit of time for whatever happened to the Mercedes. We didn't quite catch it as yeah, Shadow Phoenix says Anriu, of course. I ain't surprised, really. There's lots of Anriu support in the stream chat as we had in Spain. But Brendan, here's a fun fact for you that I say on practically every Singapore race I do. And here's a fun fact for you, stream chat. You've heard this about 6 times before. Here's a fun fact for the stream chat. Drivers who retire early here can visit Singapore's nighttime zoo. World's first nighttime zoo. Very close to the circuit here in Marina Bay. So there's your pointless fact of the day. And you know the race is kind of dying down when Evan brings out the nighttime zoo fact.
Oh yeah, Singapore, it can get a little dull at times. You see, with longer track, it does mean drivers are going to spread out a bit more because of there's more of the track that you can be in. So more drivers to pace and pace, they're going to spread out a bit more. So that's why you're seeing these then 2 second gap, then 2 drivers together, then 3 seconds and 2. Couple drivers together, 2 seconds gap. And like a second gap. So, well, let's just hope that maybe something might happen here. You don't know. Let's say Keke. He's actually really sticking with Mubarak now. So, Mubarak, he missed the opportunity to really pull away, and now he's got to deal with Williams rise up his gearbox.
Yeah, and actually, Ralkio and Tyne are gaining on this front too as well. So Mubarak's going to have to play his cards carefully here. This could be a real issue if he falls behind Keke, because he's led from the start. We've had no pit stops apart from Hav and Sipala. Sipala in for a set of the Pirelli soft compound tyres, but these hard tyres will have to do a few more laps, because if they want to do this on a one-stop, they are going to have to go a little bit further in the race. Tyre degradation is not great if you're on mediums. It's horrible if you're on softs, and on the hards it's kind of okay. So these guys are going to have to go a lot longer than this. Lap 11's not, like, you're not going to be able to go from 11 to 31 instead of mediums. It'll be a 2-stop if they pit from now. So
that's
Mubarak might be just managing here, and if that is the case, he's doing a good job of it because he's still in the race lead and he's managing. But I don't necessarily think he is.
well, we can't really know at the moment now unless we were able to pull up the tire there. But I'd assume Mubarak he will be aware of what's going on, and well, you're gonna have to push it just to make sure that he doesn't give Keke the chance to take the lead. Well, at the moment, I'd say this race is in his hands, and he just needs to not throw it away.
Just to answer a quick question from Lucky Royale, yes, line is allowed in F9 to F12. That gap now increasing once again between Mubarak and Keke. It's a bit of a game of cat and mouse, and Ty not close enough on Ralkio. He had one attempt, but he hasn't gone for a second, so maybe just building up that ERS region. This is a real chance for Tyne. Ralkio's had a huge slide on the exit of turn number 4. Literally glides through Ralkio, and now Tyne up onto the podium here in Singapore. Ralkio's not got the exit either. He's not going to be able to fight this one back heading in towards turn number 7. Tyne just has the overspeed, and the Red Bull man now on the podium here in Marina Bay. Now it's a bit of role reversal. Ralkio's the one who's going to have to try pile on the pressure.
Yeah, shoes on the other foot here. And, well, I'm not sure if Ralkio will have enough there to get back past, because even if you do turn out to be able to go a bit quicker once you're behind the card, you might just not have enough straight line speed, DRS, ERS to make a repass, so you may have to wait then until the pit stops. But it looks like, well, Tyne, he hasn't got an issue at the moment, so could be a long enough night for Ralkio.
Yeah, it certainly could be, and he's taking advantage as that's a yellow flag through the final sector. It's Sepala. He's gone at the same point again, same corner, exact same position, except this time he's facing the opposite way. He spun to the left and instead of the right, and Sepala pulls off the circuit. He's now a lap down, and that is the end of the evening for him.
Yeah, that's 2 races now, and there are not going to be any point scores for him, so I have to say this is not the start to the season you'd want.
Oh no, awful start.
Oh yeah, it is. Owen's just struggling to get into the pits as well, and that was all. I'm worried there. He nearly sped for a second.
Yeah, if he had crashed into the pit wall, that would have been an interesting end to the race for Sepala. But Sepala now a lap down. He's not going to get it back. You can't get your lap back really in league racing unless all your drivers agree to go off the circuit and let them through. But that never really happened. Zane and Justbrand. I believe Justbrand has just overtaken Zane. He has. I've just had a look on the little box that we see here in the broadcast centre, but he's got past. And Justbrand now up to 6th position. Ferrari still running well though, 4th and 7th. However, they've both lost positions in the last few laps.
Yes, positions. Once you lose them, sometimes it's just like you don't feel like you can regain them because, well, you probably have been pushing enough to try and keep that position, and then you've got nothing left once you have been passed. So it's just a bit of a catch-22 situation. Either you let them pass and save up and maybe try and repass at a later stage, or you try and keep ahead, but if you do lose a position, you're not getting it back.
Keke gaining on Mubarak, but we've saw this before and it turned out to be quite literally nothing, so it could be that again, really. Keke still piling on the pressure as it looks like. Oh, okay, strategy now starting. Anryu into the pit lane, presumably for a set of mediums, but the fan favourite German here has pulled the trigger.
Yep, he's going for it. He feels like these mediums will do the trick now and they'll last long enough, so he's going to just try to play games with the others, pull the trigger and see what else happens.
Might work out okay for him. Anryu then drops to 16th position, 3 seconds behind Marcus. Marcus, of course, is an AI car at this point, and it looks like LRB. And Damiano side by side here. This is for the final points paid position, and there's a bit of contact between the two. A bit of push to pass maybe from Damiano. LRB goes back through. Dirk now sneaks through as well. Pushes Damiano almost into the wall. Damiano's lost 2 in the price of 1 there. Believe he was letting back LRB through. Felt that he did shove him a little bit into the wall, but don't think he realised there was an Alfa Romeo Sauber right behind as well. And now Damiano has to try and get past Dirk. Is he going to dive him here in towards turn number 13? Doesn't quite. Going to try the up and under is Damiano, and the old switcheroo, as Crofty would like to call it, is not going to work out for the Mercedes.
Yeah, that's not the car you want to be laying through, especially one which can just use ERS to defend itself. You're probably going to have to make a move in an unconventional place.
And you never really want to do that around a track with walls. Is anyone going to react to Anrio? Oh, there we go. Ralchio in. Justbrand stays out. It's a double stack from Scuderia Ferrari. Oh, it's a Ferrari strategy through and through. They're double stacking here on lap 15. It's not going to work out too bad for them, actually. It's not going to work out too bad. Zane hasn't lost that much time. He's had a quick enough stop. Let's see then. Where's Anriu? Here's Anriu heading around the final corner. Here is Zane exiting the pit lane. Ralchio is going to be well in front. He entered the pits well in front, so that's an understandable thing. Where's the Ferrari? Where's the Ferrari? There is Anriu. And Zane is only exiting the pit lane now, so it's worked. Anriu's ahead of Zane. That is one crucial driver who he's ahead. Let's see who else he can get ahead. There is a huge gap between Justbrand and Time, the top 3 in a world of their own as of now. But Ralchio's pulled the trigger on the undercut for the top 3, and Anriu's pulled the trigger on the undercut for the majority of the top 7 or 8. So, this is interesting times here as we are almost at the halfway point of this Grand Prix. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a long one.
Yep, Singapore. I just had to talk today, right, these last few moments, though. Singapore is the kind of track you get when, well, the Grand Prix you get when F1 and the World Endurance Championship kind of trying to agree in a compromise race to fit both cars.
And here we go, Mubarak in. So Mubarak is into the pit lane as Tyne follows him in as well. That was a perfect analogy in this race, by the way, Brenton. Fair play to you. Justbrand heading through turn number 22 and 23. He stays out, so Keke leading. It's then Justbrand, then it's Izza, it's then going to be Baki, and then it's going to be Denzo. So, here we go then. Ralchio looking to try and get the undercut. Rounding through turn 22 and 23. Where is Mubarak? Mubarak has actually crossed the white line! Mubarak, oh, big mistake out of the pits! He's crossed the white line out of the pit lane! Could be in big trouble for that one, Mubarak. Ralchio looking to try and get the up and under on time, the man who got the position into this corner, but Mubarak has made a huge mistake out of the pits. He's had a massive slide and has crossed the white line. If he's reported to the race stewards, he could be in big trouble, but we will wait and see. He's still well in front of Tyne as of now, but of course, him and Keke were well in front. Undercut does not seem to be as powerful as first assumed. However, it's worked out nice for Anriu, because he's now only a second and a little bit behind Ralchio, who he was a good chunk behind in the opening stint. So it's worked out okay for Anriu, not for Ralchio. He's still stuck behind the Red Bull.
Yeah, that's a problem for Ralchio. And if he was going to pass, it was probably going to be while he had the warm tyres and Tyne had the colder ones, but seems like Tyne's been able to weather the storm, and once it is up to temperature, it'll become a bit of an issue for Ralchio to pass. Like, well, Tyne doesn't know much ERS now, but neither is Ralchio, so they're just probably in a stalemate at the moment. Just Keke into the pits.
The Finnish man of Keke pits from the race lead. We're going to stick with Anriu and Ralchio and Tyne and Mubarak. I have a feeling Mubarak's going to be well in front here. Keke has the last pit box, of course, being a member of Williams Racing. Well in front, but he has to get temperature in the tyres. Tyne already has some. So does this whole pack, already has temperature in the tyres. Mubarak's undercut has worked out a treat. He's now 3.4 seconds in front of the Williams Racingman. Great call from Mubarak. However, we saw him make a botched job of that pit exit. Could be in some trouble potentially, but that'll all be decided by Krypton and the PSGL post-race stewards. Keke stays ahead of time. He definitely has temperature in those tyres now.
He was bad at this point, but I'd say any chance of a win is really gone now, bar that's reported. However, with a gap like that at the moment, Mubarak could just potentially pull that 5 seconds, and in that case, it would be rendered meaningless.
Oh, Simon and Mubarak battling. Mubarak has got past Simon. That was a self-explanatory move by the looks of things. And it looks like Mubarak is through. So he's dispatched one lap traffic car. Keke still under a mountain of pressure from Tyne. Tyne still looking to stay, or apologies, Tyne still looking to get in front here. And as Baki enters the pit lane, he's going to come out a good bit behind. Mubarak is trying to overtake Dirk, and he's going to get past Dirk here in the fresh tyres. Mubarak is flying. Mubarak knows he has to make up about a 5-second gap, because that would be a standardised penalty. Baki and Shizu Simon into the pit zone. These guys are all making green flag stops. We've not had a safety car yet here in Singapore, which is quite unusual for a Formula 1 league.
Yeah, it is very, very unusual. 100% record that was safety car in Formula 1 at Singapore, I believe, so by right we probably should be getting one. I was actually about to...
Yellow flag, that's Dirk gone off. You can see him there, you can see the Alfa Romeo. Dirk reversing out of the turn 8, apologies, barrier. And that's unfortunate because he's heading towards a pit lap. There doesn't seem to be any big visual damage, however there certainly is damage. He's clattered that wall, as it looks like Marcus's AI, no, not Marcus's AI, that is Sepala actually, who's made a mistake. Marcus's AI just losing positions because it's an AI, obviously, but big mistake from Dirk. First real mistake we saw today. There hasn't been too many cars in the barriers apart from Sepala and Dirk. And Have, who had a little tap with the wall, but that was through no fault of his own. If safety car came out now, that would play lovely in the hands of the Aston Martin team as Issa leads. Justbrand and Zane battling. And look at this, it looks like Justbrand has managed to get past Zane. Now they're coming up behind the crash car of Dirk, who runs wide off the circuit. Needs to be careful with his rejoin. Great visual awareness from Dirk. That is an excellent piece of visual awareness from him. He didn't enter back on the track when he saw the two cars flying past, despite how much you always want to stay in front of a car. Denzo into the pit lane now for the mediums, where the Alpine will come out behind this little leader battle we're having. But the gap between Keke and Mubarak still 3.3. That's about where it was when Keke left the pit lane.
Yeah, around the similar gap. Keke, you just want to keep within that 5, because if he does know Mubarak has crossed the pit lane line, then he would be probably the first person to report that, because the winning PSGL has hard enough come by, especially once you get up to tiers. So if you can get one, you probably be just desperate to take it.
Real G's have 3 wins in PSGL.
I wonder why you mentioned that, but alright.
Oh yeah, just a random offhand remark. It was F14. Nevertheless, back to the race here. Baki out of the pit lane. He's going to put LRB under some pressure. I have to say Baki's going to get some points here, and I think it's a well-deserved points finish. He's not been too shabby here today. But if Tyne loses DRS and Ralkio loses DRS, the only man who has DRS will be that man of Baki. Apologies that the stream is a little bit laggy, by the way. It looks it on my little monitor end, so I do hope everything is okay. Let us know down below if there's any issues, if the audio is out of sync. Yellow flag, I'm going to believe that is Sepala again, as your race leader is into the pit lane. Brendan, you having some issues?
No.
Oh, you're back.
No, sorry, I just had something there for a second. But that's the last car to pit now, so look, everyone's made their stops.
So everybody in. We've not had a safety car. There's got to be one more twist here in Singapore. A Singaporean Grand Prix can't be this simple. It cannot be this simple. LRB and Issa really, really having a bit of a scrap out of the pit lane. Issa's come out right in some traffic. This could be a three-way fight. Here comes Backy. Here comes LRB. They're going to be three wide almost at the apex. LRB down the inside of Issa. The McLaren dives the Aston Martin. Looks like Backy's going to try and get the up and under potentially on the Aston Martin on cold tyres. He's ran wide in towards turn number 8 by the Aston Martin. That's tactical by Issa, and I have to say, a good piece of defending. Issa could have lost both. He's only lost one. He'll have much fresher tyres than LRB, and he can attack come the end of the race, but this is really the only on-track battle, but it is providing.
Yeah, so absolutely well done to the Aston Martin for keeping Backy behind, because well, he could have very easily lost 2 positions, but being able to limit it to the 1, albeit it does have a penalty, so that will have to be kept in mind. However, this might turn out to be a fun little battle here, potentially, in Singapore. So not much room for error here, so if something does happen, that little twist that you've been talking about might end up happening.
Yeah, we could do an out little scrap here. I think Issa and LRB are gonna try provide the goods. Heading through the final corner, Forza Andrew says Snipes in the comments, so Forza Andrew, apologies. And a Forza Zane, so Forza Motorsport getting some good advertising. Issa piling on the pressure. Issa certainly looks the quicker of these, as there's a real scrap here for the final points, paying positions. Denzo looking to attack. Issa looking to attack. LRB might be a sitting duck here down the longest straight here in Singapore. Look at Issa fly. This is a beauty of an exit from Issa. He's got the job done. And now he is past. As apologies if you've a black screen on your stream for some reason. I'm not too sure what's happened to that. There certainly doesn't seem to be any issues. I think YouTube could be having some issues. Actually, just let us know in the comments if everything's okay on your end. Oh no, I think it's just me having some issues. But nevertheless, that is Issa, who is past LRB and now up to 8th position. Oh, he's ran a bit wide. Actually, that was close. That was very close to the wall. Thought Issa was gone over there, but no, still in 8th.
Yeah, Issa's kept that position there. And this is going to be a 5 yeah, he actually has left a bit of a gap there, actually. You want to be trying to close back up a little. Just make sure you keep it in DRS range. Because that would be key, as just us losing a lot of time. See, 1 second now. It'll be a 5A struggling. You see over curb is not helping. Let's see what happens here. So, don't really want to be losing this much time. Let's see. There's actually that's a yellow flag there, so...
That is a yellow flag through the first sector, and it was where our leaders were heading through, but I think all is okay. Keki is actually gaining quite substantially on our race leader Mubarak. Has Mubarak gone too quick too early, like we saw earlier?
Yeah, perhaps. However, let's see what the effects of that really are in a way. A couple of laps, because at some point they're probably going to both be suffering from wear.
Six laps on the mediums for Mubarak, 5 for Keke. They shouldn't really be seeing too much degradation, but potentially they are. This battle still fires on, as I have to say. Is gaining a lot on these guys. Could he maybe catch Zane come towards the end of the race? Well, we will have to wait and see. Shizu Simon pressuring Damiano over at the Anderson Bridge. Simon really flying here. We've not seen much from Simon today, to Simon's standard, if you'd like to call it, but certainly he's putting on the pressure on Damiano. Tyne as well, almost back in the DRS of Keke, so there could be a real last couple of laps scrap between these top 3. Unfortunately, it looks like Ralkio has been dropped.
Well, it's not great for Ralkio, but if he could keep that position, it wouldn't be a bad result by any means.
No, it certainly wouldn't. 4th is not bad. Fourth is not bad at
Yeah,
all.
it is.
Oh, you're back, Brendan. Sorry, you just cut out for a second.
Oh no, yeah, it's just maybe just some side connection issues, but we should be okay.
Yeah, we're all good now.
See, Anmiu, he's actually in a bit of a no man's land, really. 6 seconds in front, and well, around 2 seconds behind. However, that's with a penalty. So yeah, it's very much a bit of a no man's land there. It's actually just Brent has had a slight moment there. So well, even more of a no man's land for Anmiu now.
Yeah, Anriu is running a lonely second stint. He's made a mistake somewhere, surely, because there's no way he has. He's dropped 6.1 seconds. He was running pretty well, but yeah, unfortunate for Anriu. However, fifth is still good. Fifth is still a great result.
Yeah, and especially since he won last week, then they were on to kind of on some more points there. If you have that kind of consistency in PSGL, it is rewarding.
Consistency is definitely rewarded in PSGL. In the top tiers and all, you see drivers win the championship when they barely even win some races, and that could certainly be a reoccurring theme here in season 33. But tying back into the DRS of Keke, we need something to spice this one up, lads. We do. We need a real scrap here between Tyne and Keke. And quite crucially, the gap now is 1.6 seconds. Could Keke still win this one on the circuit?
There is a chance, judging by momentum, but you see, his ERS is practically at 0. So he just needs to hope now that he can catch up to Mubarak, but then pass as well, because catching up is one thing, passing is a whole other story.
Yeah, you're spot on. Season 33, says Shadow Phoenix. That's what the stream title says. I assume that's correct. Yeah, am I wrong with that one? I think it's season 33.
Yeah.
I'm checking the calendar. Yeah, it is season 33. Trying to have me on in the chat is Shadow Phoenix. But yeah, it's season 33 of PSGL. I know. I lose track too. Mubarak really struggling. He's now within the DRS. Keke is now within the DRS of Mubarak. Shadow Phoenix asking how long does PSGL exist? I couldn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure it's since wrap now, potentially, for the race win here in Singapore. Mubarak versus Keke versus Tyne. 2 of the 3 who were battling for the win last week in Spain.
Yep. See, Spain, we did get a decent battle. You see here now, Keke, you've really turned on the afterburners here onto Mubarak. And then once again, a win we felt, alright, this is, okay, I can manage this now. He's got a lot on his plate now. This is almost the Monaco 2011 is where Vettel was being caused rapidly by Button and Alonso, but in that case a red flag did save the leader Vettel's blushes there as a bit of was Monaco, so it would be difficult to pass. However, now Keke, he's in the kind of,
he's really piling on the pressure here.
Position,
But the thing with Keke here is, does he go all out while he has a pace advantage? Or does he just sit behind and potentially go for a last lap dash? But nevertheless, at 25 out of 31, we're in the final third of Grand Prix action here in PSGL F3, round number 2. If you're enjoying the action, make sure to like and subscribe, as there is a yellow flag in the middle sector. That is Simon, who's gone off over the Anderson Bridge. That is Shazoo Simon. And we are still yet to see a virtual safety car or safety car feature in this Grand Prix, a track that has a 100% safety car success rate in Formula 1. Mubarak just looking to defend, just looking to have that little bit of extra pace heading through the first couple of corners. Keke needs to be very careful, because if Keke launches a rash attack, that could allow Tyne to take advantage, could certainly allow Tyne through, and could certainly lose him a potential race victory. Down the back straight, or the middle straight, if you'd like to call it. It's not necessarily the back of the track, but down the longest straight. Keke just sitting behind. 0.8 of a second separating first to third here. We didn't think it would be like that just a few laps ago.
Yeah, you see KK, 4 tenths, it's getting close. He probably just think now is the... Oh no, it's actually in a moment there.
Oh, moment. Oh, little bit of a wobble. Bit of time lost. Nothing too rash. Nothing too decisive, but Keke just needs to keep it cool. Here, there's another scrap. This is 9th position between Baki, LRB and Denzo, but we're going to stick with the battle up the top. This is the battle that we'll decide who picks up all 16 points here in PSGL F3. In terms of a fastest lap, we'll have a brief look. It belongs to Dirk. He won't pick up a fastest lap point for that position, as he's in 15th, but still fastest lap goes to the man. And that is Izza. Oh, wobble for Keke as well. That's Izza up the inside of Zane. I said he might get him. He certainly has got him. He's got him with a few laps to spare as short straight from turn 23 to turn 23 to turn 1. Not 21, turn 1. But Mubarak is under a lot of pressure, but it's Keke who looks like really he could be the one to make the mistake. Mubarak looking cool and comfortable here.
Yeah, he is. Seems like, but they're all very much quicker than Mubarak, but the problem is you can't really pass here unless you have either the ERS to force your way up to the alongside the car and then pass, or you've just got to hope that you have such a sheer pace advantage, you are going to pass.
I don't think it's going to be a pace advantage that will allow Keke through, because they're running at such a similar pace. Keke, when he had free air, might have been running quicker, but now that he's in the dirty air of Mubarak through the corners, he's going to have to come up with something, and he's going to have to use all his talent to get past Aston Martin. Heading into turn number 16. We have lap 28, 29, 13, 31. Just 4 laps to go out of 31 here in Marina Bay. Tension is building. Yellow flag, that is Sipala, the lapped traffic that's gone round in the middle sector. Not one of our race leading crew, as they were heading through that sector. Mubarak not got a good exit out of the final couple of corners. Okay, he's pulled away in the straight. Seems like the straight line speed advantage once again is keeping Mubarak in this one. But Keke is really, really close heading through the first sector. Keke, bit of a twitch there from Keke. This could have been his best opportunity, but the finishman has a little bit of a twitch, and Mubarak is going to have to just hope his Aston Martin can keep him ahead. No, this is a great opportunity for Keke. Down the 832 metres straight. Keke tries it around the outside. He's pushed off the circuit. Mubarak keeps the car in. Keke, huge wobble. Tied up the inside now. Second and third don't want to trip over each other. Oh, so close to the wall here. The finishman stays in front. Keke just about staying in front. DRS though, they've lost it. They need to push. They can't trip over each other if they want a race win. They cannot afford to lose too much time. Very close to the wall for both of them. Oh, Keke in the wall this time! It's close. It's not just close to the wall. It's quite frankly in the wall. Surely that's a bit of damage for the finishman. If he somehow avoided damage there, that's a stroke of luck. It's a stroke of luck from Mubarak, who now pulls a 1.5 second gap. This is turned in the blink of an eye here. Tying up the inside. Bit of contact between the two. The Dutchman almost goes round. Keke still stays in front. Ralkio is pushing at the speed of light behind. He senses an opportunity for a podium. Surely this one's in the bag now for Mubarak. There's definitely damage on board that Williams.
Yeah, it may not be visible, but something has to be there really. If he's gotten away with it, that is lucky. But so the timing screens will tell us all now, because if he does start gaining again, then he should be okay. However, that may be the one opportunity missed. That's
a yellow flag for no one by the looks of things. As we take a look at the penalties, Izza's going to lose quite a lot in this race because of it. Sipala has 21 seconds of penalties. I'd love to know what the record is for penalties in the PSGL race, as Keke gets so close to the wall. Time to race will be decided on can he get past Keke before he hits the lap 30 mark. I think Mubarak has this one summed up, but never say never in PSGL. Tyne, was that his chance to get past Keke? Was Keke hitting the wall? A big blunder in this one. Justbrand up the inside of Anriu, and Justbrand's got the job done on the man who was running a lonely race, but Anriu has lost the spot. He could get it back due to penalty count. No time being gained by Keke. Tyne is going to have to think of something very creative here to try and get past the slower Williams. Keke is making this Williams as wide as a London bus. Here comes Tyne then, looking to go up the inside, heading in towards turn number 14. Late dive down the inside for the Red Bull Racing one. He's almost pushed Keke to the wall. Just leaves enough room. Wobble on the exit. Keke still going to keep the Williams in. Still going to keep the Williams ahead. Still side by side, heading in towards the right-left chicane here in the final sector. Keke stays in front for now. That was a good piece of defensive driving. Tyne did not leave him a lot of room, but Keke made use of what he had.
Yeah, Keke's kept position, but that's the win.
Oh, has he tapped the wall again? I think Keke might have tapped the wall again there on the right-hand side. This one is summed up from Mubarak, unless he makes a late mistake, but I can't really see him doing that. That's a yellow flag. Believe it's Sipala once again in the middle sector. Fair play to him for carrying on, by the way, because he is miles down. Still no safety car in this one. We're going to have a clean Singaporean Grand Prix. And just look who's introduced himself into the fight. Look who is here. Ralkio has introduced himself into the fight. Yellow flag. That is Damiano in the final sector for the Mercedes. That'll be Shizu Simon who gets the spot on Damiano. Ralkio had a wobble out of turn number 5, but he has well and truly introduced himself into this one. The Irishman senses a podium. The Irishman wants a podium, and he's going to do everything possible to get that one in a race that's not necessarily been his day. But if Keke and Tyne trip over each other once again, that could allow Ralkio to sneak his way through. But Keke, I must say, doing a very good job defending this one in second position, despite having the disadvantaged car, you could say.
Yeah, Keke's doing a good job here, despite what would have probably be damage on his car. So, I'd say he's done a good job here today, but he might feel like that win, it is there, although to be fair.
Oh, he could have had it easily. It was a huge blunder. But he's made the best of what he's got. Looks like Izza's got past Anriu. I'm not too sure what's happened to Anriu's pace, but it's completely fallen off. Izza does have much better tyre, to be fair, and Anriu will still keep the position, because Izza does have 9 seconds with the penalties. Final lap of round number 2 here in PSGL Season 33. It's the Singaporean Grand Prix, and there's still a lot to play for. Tyne still going to try and get past Keke. The Red Bull needs to use all his talent that he's got to try and pick up his second consecutive second. Would take the lead of the championship, I believe, as of now, if he was to finish second position. Damiano picks up a time penalty. There was a wobble from the Williams. There was a wobble from the Red Bull. Is that Tyne's best opportunity gone? Potentially. Is Ralkio able to get close? No. So Tyne as of now on course for third, but just look how late he breaks in towards turn number 8. Into 9, I imagine there'll be a lot of pushing on the exit, but Tyne does not want to lose a good position now. That is Damiano, who has made a bit of an error by the looks of things. Through the Singapore sling, Tyne just looking to try and get past Keke. That's a wobble. That could be a crucial wobble heading over the Anderson Bridge for the final time. This is the last overtaking opportunity, really, for the Red Bull. Nowhere near close enough. Mubarak has made a mistake somewhere because he is losing a lot of time. Is there damage potentially on the Aston Martin? He has lost a substantial amount of time, and this one really was never comfortable for the Aston Martin. He's losing so much time here. Don't really know what's going on for Mubarak. No puncture signs or anything. Just looks like he's taking it cool. Is there a bit of damage maybe on the Aston Martin? No, doesn't look visually. Mubarak somehow going to come across the line. It's not been easy. It looked like it might have slipped away from him on multiple occasions. But nevertheless, Mubarak wins the Singaporean Grand Prix. Keke in second. Tyne in third. Ralkio will come across the line in fourth. Justbrand will come across the line in 6th position. Think he's going to keep it on a penalty count. Izzo will lose 6 to Anriu. Anriu jumps to 6. Zane is going to come across the line. in ninth.
Backy up to seventh.
Backy goes up to second or seventh. That's what I was waiting for. I thought Backy might get that one. Is Denzo going to get a point? No points for Denzo. Simon with a bit of a victory donut, and that one turned out to be a lot closer than we expected. About 5 times. It seemed like any time Mubarak pulled a comfortable gap, he couldn't keep it. But who cares? He's just picked up 16 points in his second PSGL race here this season.
Well, it didn't turn out great last time, but this time he has got it right. And he'll very much take those 16 points with him. I just want to note though, as you did say, he's on.
Oh yeah, he did technically cut the pit exit, but Mubarak is the provisional race winner, so that's what we have to treat it as.
That is true. Yeah, so unless it is reported, it is.
We might have been the only one who noticed it. Mubarak's probably hoping so.
I'd say he definitely would be, because once you do feel yourself cross that line, if you know it, you're just going to have to hope and pray.
We are going to hopefully try and get the top 3 in for a post-race interview. I can't imagine we'll get all of them, but if we could get one, that would be better than one thing. We're going to get time. We're going to get the man who finished in 3rd position, as Shazoo Simon wins the in-game plans driver of the day. Keke is unfortunately not going to be joining us. Hopefully we can get Mubarak in. As no, we won't be getting Mubarak in. We're just going to be getting Tyne in. Keke congratulating Mubarak, so maybe he's not too sure about that pit exit. Shadow Phoenix saying Anryu will bounce back this week, and I'm sure next week. I'm sure he will. I am absolutely sure Anryu will be back.
Yeah, we hope I'll be back next week. See, he showed his form pretty good last time out, but sometimes it's just some races don't really go anywhere, so you have to take the good with the bad, and then just hope that that middle ground is good to kind to you.
Absolutely spot on. We'll be seeing the full race results now then, ladies and gentlemen. Mubarak wins in Singapore ahead of Keke in 2nd position. Tyne finishes 3rd, followed by Ralkio in 4th. Justbrand finishes in 6th position, with Anryu in 6th. Baki finishes in 7th, followed by Izza in 8th. It's then Zane 9th, LRB 10th, Denzo in 11th. Simon finishes in 12th, followed by Hav in 13th, Damiano in 14th, followed by Marcus in 15th, Dirk then in 16th, Sipala 17th, and only one non-finish in a Singaporean Grand Prix. That's mad. Harvey finishes in 18th. We're going to head to our post-race interview now, folks, and we're going to bring Tyne into the commentary booth. Hello, Tyne, can you hear us? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you now. So, Tyne, 3rd position, excellent race from your standards, I'm sure. Qualified in 5th up to 3rd. It's never not a good thing to gain positions. But talk us through that one. It looked a difficult race from everyone's perspective. How did it feel for you?
It was very difficult because I just had not enough pace to keep up with Keke. So I just was completely driving on the limit every lap. And it was very exhausting. So, yeah, at the end it was a bit too much, I think. I couldn't get past Keke, but because every time I tried to overtake him, he just got a better exit, and
Yep, spot on.
and it was just so hard to overtake on this track. So pretty happy with the P3 here. Yeah.
Well, I believe, now I'm no mathematician, but I believe that does give you the championship lead heading into round number 3 in Paul Ricard. It's a fairly short season. Does this give you confidence that maybe you could win the championship?
Oh, definitely. It gives me a bit of hope to win the championship. and I'm gonna go full send in the next races. So let's see what we are gonna do.
Brendan, any questions from you?
Just asking, see, when you and Keke were closing in on Mubarak, did you? And then obviously, Keke tried to go for the move, but then lost a little bit. Then obviously, you and Keke just got to fight. Do you think that maybe might have cost the pair of you a chance to really get at Mubarak, or was that just maybe something that wasn't a bridge too far?
Yeah, it did cost me the chance to get Moberg, but I just felt that Kekker was not quick enough in the straight to overtake Moberg, so I didn't feel if I didn't overtook him, then he would definitely stay ahead. So in that way, it wouldn't have changed if I didn't overtook him, I think so, or tried.
Well, Tyne, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to let you go and enjoy your night. Once again, congratulations, because a podium in Singapore is always very impressive, with it being such a difficult race. So, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for commentating on me, guys.
We do appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, as briefly mentioned in the interviews, next week we head to Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Then it is off to the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. It's then Azerbaijan, China, Mexico, Bahrain, Hungary, Brazil and Portugal. If you ever want to look back at the calendar, you can in the PSGL Discord server. Everybody is welcome to join. Fans, drivers, commentators alike. So do please join us. But thank you very much for joining us here this evening in Marina Bay, ladies and gentlemen. We had a very interesting race from maybe a strategical point of view. Not many battles out on track, but certainly many battles between the drivers in mindset, maybe in strategy. But nevertheless, we do appreciate you joining us here for PSGL F3. You can find us next week, same time, same place. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.